Why does my heart
Nice. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here for another fun edition of Deborah Kobylt Live. And I got a great guest today. In studio with me is Blake Boyd. I call him Blake Edward Boyd. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Deborah.
Esteemed actor. He's done quite a bit, and I'll kind of go through the list in a minute. But the reason why you're here is because you were in the play out here in Los Angeles called, I always get it wrong.
You love that I'm not your wife.
You love that I'm not your wife. I love the title of it, but I always get the words mixed up unless it's right in front of me. So thank you. Which my dear friend Joanne Mosconi, that's her play.
Yeah.
And I've been sort of watching it unfold, watching her now produce this over in New York after doing this in Los Angeles. And you are reprising the role over in New York City, which is very exciting. And I told you I'm going to be there.
Yeah, you're going to be there opening night. We're
Opening
very happy.
night. I might go there the next night
Yeah.
because a friend of mine is also performing. You know, Donnie Most over from...
Yeah, Happy Days.
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine, and he's performing on Friday in New York. So I'm thinking, all right, what do I do? Maybe I'll go to him Friday and you Saturday, but whatever, I'll get there. So thanks for being here. So
Thank you for having me.
tell me a little bit about this role and a little bit about this play.
Well, first of all, Joanne Mosconi wrote this play several years ago because essentially she wanted to understand what it was like to be single or married in Los Angeles pursuing love. We say, well, why Los Angeles? Well, Los Angeles, they refer to it as the City of Angels. I think of it as the City of Dreams, is like no other city in the world.
How?
Well, I have friends all the time. I'm sure you do too. Perhaps they're working in service on a Monday. Their script is optioned on a Friday, and their world will never be the same. That doesn't happen in the medical profession. It doesn't happen on Wall Street. It doesn't happen anywhere else but Hollywood.
And a little bit in New York City, you know, if you're on...
Yeah,
if you're
in
on,
entertainment. Yes,
in entertainment,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
But you're right. I mean, pretty much those two cities, particularly in Hollywood.
But also in Hollywood, there are no rules. It's high school with money. And essentially, Joanne, the play is about human...
High school with money. I love that.
You never heard that? Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't.
It's
I
high
love
school
that.
with money.
It's high
There's the-
school with
there's-
money. No wonder.
Yeah, there's the
Okay.
cool group, they're the jocks, they're the freaks, they're the whatevers, and everybody is kind of in high school. But in Hollywood, we have money and we have power. The power structure is constantly changing, and all 10 people in Joanne Mosconi's play are trying to make it at something. There's a
What are you
writer.
trying to make it at?
Well, I am first of all, you have to come see the play to understand who these people are. I will say this, just like Los Angeles, some of these people aren't exactly who they say they are. They're not particularly dishonest. Perhaps they just represent themselves as to what they want to be. And then as time unfolds, you understand that they're not exactly who
I
they
have
say
to
they
tell
are.
you, I have only found that the past couple of years. We came out here from New York
Uh-oh.
with work, and when you come with work, it's a whole different ball game because you don't need anything from anybody. You're here and you've already got what you need. But when you come here, as you did and a lot of other people did, as you know, someone who's trying to make it, you run into all kinds of characters. Isn't it true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, for example, I was thinking about this on the way over here. When I was 24 years old,
Yeah.
minding my own business on a Thursday, I get called in to go read for a film, and people had seen me a month prior, and within 36 hours, I'm on a plane, first class, co-starring in the Philippines with one of my childhood heroes, David Carradine.
Oh,
In no other business, in no
I
other
know his
city.
wife well.
Yeah,
We've had
lovely.
her on here. Yeah.
Yeah. And David was great, by the way, and this was many years ago. But going back to the play, what Joanne has done is got 10 people looking for love, oftentimes in the wrong places. There's different ages, there's different backgrounds. There's a girl from Europe, and not everyone is an actor. Actually, there's very few actors in the play. There's a lawyer, there's a photographer, there's a writer, there's a guy that's an entrepreneur in Hollywood, myself. And so you put these people in an environment, in a cauldron, if you will, of Los Angeles, and we're going to see what happens. And it's kind of funny.
Why is it so enamoring for people when you're an actor or you're a performer? Like for the regular folks who aren't performers, such as in the finance business or the doctor who have steady income, steady job, you know, but it's still very enamoring for people to say, oh, you know who's my client, or oh, you know who I work on, or oh, you know who I do this. There's such a cachet to it. Why is that?
Because every day we wake up and we believe and we dream and we have the courage to follow our hearts, and not many people do. They want to watch us. I had a man once tell me in Vegas, ironically, he said, this was years ago, he said, if you're a good man, if you ever want to give up this acting thing, I want to set you up with my daughter.
This acting thing.
Yeah. And he insulted my profession, but he also complimented me, wanted me to meet his daughter. And I was flattered, but also kind of upset. But the point is people admire us kind of from afar, like zoo animals. You look
better
at 'em,
believe it.
You don't want to really get too close oftentimes. But, you know, you and I spoke the other day. I've always viewed this as a business. I have a business degree from SMU. I started working as a model. I shot commercials in college. And when I came out here, I actually did, you know, commercials, television, film, and then got into the theater. So to me, the theater is the holy grail, and I'm really excited to go back on November 3rd, opening, and You Love That I'm Not Your Wife, in the Village, written and directed by Joanne Mosconi.
Man, I cannot wait to see this play because I missed it here in L.A. I don't know why, Joanne. What was I doing? I didn't get my invitation, but, you know, I'm going this time.
Yeah.
But tell me the name of your character.
Tony Ciccarelli.
I love that name. What did I say on the phone? I'm like, oh, he's Italian. You play an Italian guy? You know, my people.
Yeah.
I'm a back east Italian girl.
Yeah,
So when I hear that, I get all excited and my accent comes out. So tell me a little bit about, you know, about him.
Well, Tony is in Hollywood, and he represents himself as many do, and I can't give away too much, but Tony is a nice guy. Tony will not lie, but he will manipulate, kinda, maybe. And it's Tony.
Well, you know what? Everybody else is manipulating in that business.
Tony is a metaphor for Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's a charming guy. He's not bad looking, so they say. I don't know. He's a charming guy. Tony is in love with the idea of love. You talk about somebody that wakes up and dreams and believes every day, and that's infectious to the people around him. And he has a lovely young fiancée, Marie, played by Frankie Gallucci, who's just fantastic. We found her in New York, and she's just wonderful. We're having online rehearsals and people all over the world, and we're running lines. And
we got to get to that because I love that you're doing the online rehearsals because I see what Joanne does.
Yeah.
She's got, you know, it's kind of like the Brady Bunch screen. You know, you're all sort of up there. And Joanne, if you're listening, you ought to call in too. If you're listening, I'd love to hear from her. I know right now she's in New York. I think she's watching her nephew. In fact, I called her. I was talking to her earlier. She's like, "I'm picking up my nephew."
Yeah.
You know how this goes. You know, you're doing a pre-interview as I'm putting my mascara on at the house. You know, someone else is calling me for a previous show. She's got the nephew screaming in the background. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that she'll probably call in because I told her I said I might have her call in. But I also want to get to something else. Theater, is this your first love? Because you've done television, you've done film, and quite successfully.
Well, thank you. Like I said earlier, it was the last venue that I reached. And it was, to me, I wanted to be involved in theater because that's what the good actors do. And there's a discipline. There is no net. That curtain goes up on a Thursday night at 8 o'clock, and there is no net.
I would find it easier. You know, I really wanted to be an actress. I mean, you know, that song, she wanted to be an actress, but she wound up here. You know, that song. I really did. And there was not a lot of encouragement because where I grew up, it was like, what? That's crazy. Nobody does that. It's not a real job. I swear to God. So I majored in math. Really? Do I look like somebody who's a mathematician? I like math.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I decided to give it up. And then I went into, you know, news writing and broadcasting, et cetera, et cetera.
You definitely have to have a calling. It's like the clergy. It's like medicine.
There's no question about it.
You can't.
You want to perform. You want to make people happy. You want to entertain them, right?
Several years ago, I was doing a play at the Odyssey, Burn This, and it was on a Friday.
I saw that.
At the Odyssey?
Yes.
Well,
I saw that. That was terrific.
Did you like me?
Well, now I didn't remember who you were,
That's
but
all
I'm going to
right.
remember.
That's
But
all right.
because I go to a lot of theater out here, and you know, a lot of people say there's not great theater in LA. I disagree. Certainly, it's not New York. Okay, but LA's got a lot of terrific stuff. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, that's all right. Thank you. We had a wonderful production produced, and playing Pale was Dean Biasucci, who's been a longtime friend of mine. From New York as well. And it was on a Friday. I'll never forget it. It's one of those moments where you say, okay, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I was exhausted. I'd had a terrible day. There was traffic. It was long. And I was on stage at the Odyssey with a mouthful of dialogue, a ton of blocking, and it was the first time I relaxed all day long.
Look, we know this. If you're someone who performs, if you're someone who likes to who delivers news to people, gives information, performs on a stage, that's when you're really on. That's when you're most comfortable, right? When the light goes on, and a lot of people don't understand that. That's your gift.
Well, you really have to love what you do. You have to love the business. You have to love what I do is storytelling. We tell stories. That's what we do.
And
we don't preach, where we try not to. Some people do. But we entertain and let them come up with the result that they want to come up.
And that's been going on since the beginning of time.
Coastal Greece
Back
were
in
the
the
first theaters.
Thank you. Back in the Greek days. I mean, this is something people need entertainment. Yep. Entertainers have an important role in society. I mean, it's changed so much. In fact, Joanne, are you on the line? Hello, Joanne. I don't hear her.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. How are
Hello?
you? Did you get your nephew where he needed to go?
My nephew is sitting right here.
Oh, hello. That's what I love about
Can you
live.
hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Nah, not that great. So try and talk a little bit louder. But anyway, we've got Blake
Hi.
here in studio. Hi. So we're talking about your incredible play. He was talking about rehearsing. And I love the fact that, he's here in LA rehearsing and you've got it set up online, right? How do you do that? You've got everybody set up in different places rehearsing at the same time, right?
Yeah, it's actually easier than it sounds. We give them a little code, and that allows them to enter my personal meeting room.
Yeah.
And once they enter, their picture pops up in a box, and we conduct a very interesting type of rehearsal that most theater professionals would probably never even think would work. But it does work when it comes regarding learning lines, especially when people are in LA and New York. And I was doing this from Barcelona. So we had people online from Canada, Barcelona, New York, and then Los Angeles, all at the same time. And Blake was on at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
on a Sunday
that was
morning.
great.
Because you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Because you love what you do. 6 in the morning on a Sunday, I'll be there.
Joanne's masterfully coordinated 10 different people. Hey, boss, how are you?
I'm well, and I have a little 6-year-old who's wondering what I'm talking about beside me. I don't know if you guys hear him.
Give him a meatball. Are you at your dad's restaurant right now over in New York?
No, but we were at my apartment, but he'd love a meatball.
Yeah, because
you want a meatball?
Yeah.
Where?
For people who don't know this, Joanne's father owns the very famous Mosconi's restaurant and Monty's. And Monty's. And I grew up back there, so I know those restaurants. And I even had her dad on the show. So that's why I said give the kid a meatball if he starts to act up. All right, so
Okay.
How is everything going with this? I mean, you've got actors. How many actors are in the play?
So we have 11 actors in our play.
I want to roll in this. Can't you sort of write me in, like write in something?
Deborah, you should be in this. The next run, you're going to come on.
Joanne, I'm telling you.
For a cameo.
No, I don't need a cameo. I could take the whole thing away, believe me. But I'm just... No, you should do something on newscasting or podcasting or something. All these crazy people with big egos.
Oh, my God. I'd love it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have an idea for you. But I am so looking forward to seeing this. But I'm just saying... The fact that now you can do this in a way that you weren't able to do this just a few years ago by having actors all over the place, that's really changed the business, right? Has it made it easier? So you don't have to fly to New York, right, for 6 weeks?
Well, yeah. No, I was going to go. We had some scheduling changes, and so I do have to be there for 6 weeks because I'll actually go Saturday. And because you have to have living, breathing people in the room. And there's a long 25-page scene that's got 11 different characters now, coming and going, and it's really funny. And the critics, Don Grigwire, I showed you that review earlier. What
yeah,
he
you
wrote.
did. What did he say? Tell me.
Well, Joanne Mosconi's, read it up.
I'm here.
No. We're saying Broadway World. The author who wrote in Broadway World said that your play is a crowd pleaser with miles of heart. So you're getting some real great press on this thing. This is terrific, right? Isn't that what it said?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And what I was saying earlier is you got this. You have to be. You can do a lot of stuff online. You can understand the story. You can get to know actors. You can get off book possibly. But at the end of the day, you got to be in a room with Joanne, with her saying, "Okay, make this cross turn, say this." You've got to do the exercises. We've done a lot online. But it's now time to get everybody together because nothing's going to replace that.
How has the business changed for you as an actor the past, let's say, 10 or more years, since you're able to, for example, audition online for somebody? A lot of times you don't even have to go in, which I think has got to be really hard because you need to get a feel from
I was
the person.
in Germany and Italy last December. Once we were at a film festival, shot in Asia. We were at the Rome Independent Film Festival, and I got a call for an audition. And they said, put yourself on tape and send it in.
Did you get the
From
role?
Rome. No, I didn't. Same thing in Germany. And so I was able to still be competitive in Los Angeles. They call it self-taping auditions or eco-friendly casting, where you don't drive over there. You send a tape in, or you send a link in.
Eco-friendly casting?
Yep.
I like that, but is it effective?
Well,
because, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, they get a sense of who you are. When people get cast in roles, they're not so much hiring a performance as they are the sense of a person. Because that's what's going to help tell the story. A performance is, you don't fall in love with the performance.
I agree.
You fall
That's
in
why
love
I
with
said,
the sense of the person.
isn't it a little bit easier to have the person? That's why I said
Well,
it's a little easier to be in person. But if you can't
absolutely.
get there,
Yeah.
you know, what are you going to do?
But
It's
these
better
people,
than yeah.
both of these people know me. They've known me for years. They've almost hired me. They've never hired me before. But you know, and there's no other option. He'll
Yeah.
come in when he gets back on the 23rd. But you know, you want to see a tape now. So.
Tell me a little bit about Blake. Why did you hire him, Joanne? I mean, first of
No.
all, the first thing I noticed, okay, look, when I saw his picture, I texted my friend, I said, oh my God, he's really good looking. Look who I get to interview today. I did. I even Pardon?
Do you want the polished response, or do you want the real, authentic response?
Girl, I want the real authentic
yeah,
response.
yeah.
No polishing here
Well, let me
needed.
just tell you the other night. Hold on, Joanne.
Deborah, truthfully, what?
Well, what I was going to say is she kicked me out of her apartment the other night in New York.
Who?
I did. Joanne did. She said, I think it's time for you to leave at one point.
I wouldn't have kicked you out of my
well,
apartment.
bless you, sweetie.
I promise.
Joanne's a sweetheart. But
Joanne, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't have done that.
we work well together. But, you know, just like with any successful relationship, partnership, you know, I love her family, her husband. We're all friends. But, you know, we work and we talk a lot. And sometimes it gets a little frictious.
Look, you've got to be impassioned in this business. Like you said, you're not a microbiologist. You know, you're not looking through a microscope all day. And God bless them, we need people to be microbiologists and doctors and finance people and all that. But when you're in the arts, it's the passion that drives you. Without the passion, come on.
Listen, if I was normal, I'd go work at a bank or at a hardware store or be a doctor or be a lawyer. But I'm not. And
Normal people don't understand
Yeah, exactly.
this craft.
And
I'm telling you, because a lot changes on a dime, and you go, oh my God, look what happened. And then it's like, whatever happened to blank 3 weeks ago? And people are like, well, didn't happen. It's like,
Well, the biggest fallacy is that actors are ego-driven and want to be famous. And that's true in some cases, but really I think the ones that last for a significant period of time, that have successful, sustainable careers over time, are people with a healthy degree of humility that are interested in storytelling.
I always think about what Robin Williams said, which is sad, you know, but he wanted to make people happy because he knew what it felt like to not be.
Yeah.
And that has always stayed with me, because I know at times if I'm not feeling great, instead I'll walk into a room and try and make that room feel better because I don't want anybody to feel sad.
Well, that's
know?
a very good point. In Joanne's play, You Love That I'm Not Your Wife, which opens on November 3rd through November 18th at the Steve and Marie Seguros Theater at the Players Theater in the Village, what she's done is created characters, and you just hit the nail on the head. All of these characters have a need. They have a need for approval, which is essentially what Robin was saying. And it's
Kills
okay.
me.
It's okay. We're all just children running around trying to get love. And Joanne's captured this in You Love That I'm Not Your Wife.
Joanne, I interrupted you when we were talking about kicking Blake out of your apartment. What we see, I remember.
Well,
I might interrupt
now
somebody.
After he said that nice thing, it's hard for me to tell.
No,
the
no,
truth.
I want right now. I want the real thing right now. I'm going back to it. I didn't forget what.
So this is sort of cute. You know, Blake and I was telling this to my cast. When you're in casting, you're sort of going through the process of falling in love with the people you're going to cast. So, you know, there's this relationship with Blake that when he emails me and texts me, Deborah, I want to kill him.
You want to kill him? I thought maybe you're.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what? Why do you want to kill him? I don't get it.
Because we just don't do well over email and text, and we were only emailing and texting for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then the moment I saw his smiling face on Zoom, I was like, wow, I really do miss him and love him. He's totally different in person.
No, I get the.
So we have this.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have. I think we drive each other nuts.
So you want to kill Blake? Okay, so you want to kill Blake? I'm sorry to hear that. I don't. So
I don't really want to kill
I'll
him.
treat him
I'm
well.
just trying to say that we both are the same. We have producers have a certain kind of mentality, and it's like we want immediate responses. We want it our way, and sometimes our ways are a little different. So, but I think that's why we work well
And don't
together.
you find at the
So
end?
I love working with Blake.
Don't you?
I love working with you too, Joanne.
Oh, just keep going. The two of you all step
Well,
aside.
but yesterday, it's...
Well, Blake is the heart of this play. I wouldn't be
thank you.
doing this play in New York if it wasn't for Blake.
Thank you.
And I mean that. I was pretty much content with doing my performing arts coach thing, you know, living in LA and coming back to New York, and I went out. I don't know if Blake said this earlier because I chimed in 3 minutes late, but we went out for Blake's birthday in Brentwood, I believe. And Blake said it. It turned out it wasn't a birthday dinner. It was the day that we gave birth to this play again, being in New York. So
is that right?
He's the heart of this play.
So you weren't really sure you were going to be doing it in New York? And
I wasn't doing it at all. No, this just happened. We went out for his birthday, and he's like, I really would love to do that play again. And I don't know who said it, but somebody said, let's do it in New York. And then the next day we called theaters and we made it happen.
You know, I think this is going to do so well there because even though New Yorkers love to make fun of people who live in LA, and I am from back east, there's still an intrigue. And I think when a New Yorker goes to see this play, there will be that intrigue of what's going on over there. You know what I mean?
Yesterday morning, Joanne called, and this is a prime example. It's about 5:30 in Los Angeles, okay? I've gotten to bed about 1. Joanne can't sleep.
I got a 4:30 in the morning text from her. I'll show you.
Yes,
I wanted
exactly.
to kill her.
Exactly.
But I get her. She's my friend, and I'm similar. Go ahead.
And she's like, wake up. I need you. I need you to respond to the
God.
emails. And I'm trying to get somewhere, and if I stop to engage her, I'll be late. Anyway, she's telling me these ideas, and by the way, they're brilliant, by the way, and I'm not just saying this. We've got live music. We have a piano player. We've added another character. I can't really tell you much more about it, but her ideas were excellent. And as a testament to the way Joanne works is I said, great. How about this? How about we don't have the character say who he is at that point? How about I introduce him later in the second act? And she said it's brilliant. And so what she does is with all the people, not just me, and I saw her do it 3 years ago, I'm seeing her do it now, is she empowers the people around her. So they show up at rehearsal with new ideas and they add things. And I get calls from Joanne at 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, whatever. Oh, I got to tell you what so-and-so brought into the show today. And it's
I like
part
that
of
passion.
the way she works.
I like it. I like
And
that kind of.
so-
I'd rather have that than somebody that you don't know what the heck is in the back of their mind.
Because essentially theater's a family. Whether we like it or not, we're stuck with each other. And it behooves us to get along.
I'm often surprised when I hear about actors who really didn't get along on the set or on stage. Like I always hear about Ryan Gosling and who's that one who also in The Notebook.
Yeah.
That they apparently couldn't stand each other. And I think,
that's-
God, how do you have such an impassioned scene so many times and you can't stand the person whatsoever,
But
right?
theater is different than film. I don't know those actors. I know the movie, but there's Deborah Winger, Richard Gere many years ago in different movies. These
Yeah, they
classic-
didn't like each other
they
either.
hated one another.
Maybe
It was
that's why they
beyond
were
love.
so passionate.
Well, that's the thing.
Because, love and hate is so closely related.
But the thing is, usually when you're working on a film or a TV show, you go to the set, you work, you run lines, they do coverages. You don't have to really interact with the person that you're working with. In the theater, it's a family. You have a call time an hour and a half before the show. You have fight call. You have a meeting with with Joanne on stage before. We do a warm up together. You're working, living, breathing with a family. And so in the theater, it's a little bit different animal.
what's often the hardest part?
What?
The last show. It shuts down and suddenly that family goes away and you do the best you can to stay in touch. Am I right? And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, what happened to Blake? Where's Johnny over there? Joanne's busy off in Greece again. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's to me, the hardest part because you don't get to go to work and see the guy sitting next to you at the cubicle,
Well, there's a camaraderie in the theater. Like I was referring earlier, Joanne has this 25-page scene. It's at the top of Act 2. You'll see it. I don't have to tell you what it is.
Okay.
People coming and going and entering and exiting, and it's really, really well done. And so it requires and some characters have more to do than others in that scene.
Yeah.
Some parts of some roles are more instrumental in that 25-page scene, but every single person is important. If someone's late on a cue, it affects the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And so, to that end, we are a family, and we need to show up for one another. And Joanne does a great job about keeping everyone unified and together, and it's a lot of fun.
What else do you guys like to work on when you're not working on this play? Blake, you go first.
Oh, I read a lot.
What do you like to read? You work out? I would never know. Oh, my goodness.
Well, and also one of the things I've done, and Joanne's helped me with this, I was the #1 fundraiser in Los Angeles for Memorial Sloan Kettering's Cycle for Survival.
I love this. You told me on the phone. How much did you raise? How did you do
I
that?
raised over $21,000 last year.
That is so impressive.
And so many of us have been affected by cancer. And what Memorial Sloan Kettering does that's so brilliant, theirs is just focused on rare cancer research. About 50% of all cancer diagnoses are rare cancers. And there are 4,500, according to the American Heart Association, In 2013, there were an average of 4,500 cancer diagnoses every single day in North America. Half of those are rare cancers, which don't have as many treatment, diagnostic, and
So they
research.
could be, let's say, a breast cancer, but it's a rare form of breast cancer.
It could be, yes.
That's what you're saying.
There's certain cancers that are all rare. All pediatric cancers are rare.
They are. It's so sad.
So anyway, I raised over $21,000 last year, and we raised as a group $35 million last year. Since 2007,
that is very impressive.
Let
me say something about you. For all those people who think that actors are, in fact, so egotistical, when you and I were talking yesterday on the phone, it may be one of the first things you mentioned. When I said, what do you like to do? Boom, you talked about your charity work, which I thought was really terrific. It said a lot to me about you. And you even said to me, I'd really like to talk about it because this means something to me. And I really appreciate that about you. Because, again, a guy who's impassioned and you're a guy who feels stuff. So
I truly believe I'm so blessed in my life to be able to do what I do. I've lost different family members to cancer. I've also like I said, been blessed. Every day I get up, I wear makeup, I carry swords, fake weapons, I kiss impossibly beautiful women. I get to live the life that people only dream about, and I'm very, very fortunate, and I truly believe that we must serve others, we have to give back, we have to make the world better for those around us, and that's the key to success.
Joanne and Blake, before I let you both go, differences between doing a play in LA and New York? Yeah.
She just laughs. I'm going to let Joanne take that.
Huge.
Tell me.
I think New York is a theater community, and I will say this: that people in New York are more willing to spend money on theater. It's more of an event. I think it's more respected in New York City. Not to say that it's not respected in LA, but even in terms of getting quality actors, I think it's easier in New York. We have a lot of quality actors in LA, but they're all out for film and TV.
Yeah, it's changing, and I want to see that change in LA because I've seen the landscape change a little ever since I've been here. There wasn't quite as much theater, and there's just more. There's smaller.
It's growing. It's definitely growing.
So you feel like you have more support over in New York.
Well, sure, but everything's more expensive in New York City. I used to own a theater in LA, and the cost of producing in New York City is much. Obviously, the rents are higher in Manhattan, but it's much more. Everything's more expensive here too. So, but I always tell people that you never ask people to come see you in a show or come see my play. You provide them with an experience. And in New York, people love experiences, and I think in LA, sometimes if you are thinking about going to a show and you realize it's about an hour away, you might not go.
Well,
on a Friday
isn't
night.
that the
We're
truth?
in New York. Yeah. We're in New York, people are like, when's the show? Yeah, of course we're going, and they'll come.
Yeah, and where are we going to eat next door? You know what I mean? It's like, let's
Monty's, we're giving 15% off to anyone who brings a ticket stub.
No, absolutely. But I mean, whenever you're going to the theater in New York, wherever you're going to go, there's always a restaurant nearby, and clearly Monty's for your play. I mean, that's the big draw.
Yeah.
How about you?
My father misses you, by the way. When he heard that I was going to call in, he wanted to be on the phone too. I said, no, we're not going to do all of us. We're not going to do that to Deborah today.
Your dad and I had a connection. I can't wait to eat at his restaurant when I come out there. He's going to feed me the night before the marathon, by the way.
Oh, my God, he will.
I know he will. And I know he will because, I have to get up early the next day on Sunday because I'm doing the New York City Marathon. If I get through it, because I've been having knee trouble. And my doctor hears, no, it's true. And he's like, look, Deborah, I know how you're, committed to this. I will shoot you up with cortisone just to get you through it. And then on the back end, we'll have to take care of your knees. But yeah, I've been doing too much walking and running. I don't run that much, but to the point where I think I've done a little bit of knee damage. So, but I'm going to be there and I'm going to do the marathon.
Be careful.
Yeah, I know. So right after the play, we've got to go eat some pasta to, get me ready for the next day. How about you? Difference between LA and New York?
About 2 years ago, I opened off-Broadway in a mutual friend of Joanne and I's play that had done really well all over the country, and the audiences were very respectful. I was afraid they were going to be more standoffish, particularly of a production that had come from LA. Not at all. They were very enthusiastic. They were very respectful. Like I said, they make an event of the evening going out. In LA, it's challenging because it's a major effort to get to the theater.
I think that's what it is. Joanne hit it. You're both hitting it.
Yeah.
You have to get there. Sometimes I go
it's hard.
downtown to the Amundsen or the Taper, and I'm thinking, Oh my God, because I already know what I'm in for. I am in for hours of traffic from where I live.
Well, even the Dodgers and the Lakers, the joke is people don't show up till the end of the first quarter or the third inning because it's an effort to get there.
And I have 3 kids, and half the time it's like, somebody needs something. So I'm trying to get out the door. Somebody needs something. I'm like, look, I got to go to the Lakers, or I have to get to Joanne's play.
Yeah.
So, that's just what happens. Any parting words?
Joanne's done a great job bringing Los Angeles to New York. We think that people that see the play, not only will they be entertained, but they'll come away with a different understanding of Los Angeles. We're not trying to preach. We're not trying to teach. We're just trying to tell a story about 10 people trying to survive in a cauldron that is the City of Angels. We open November 3rd through November 19th at the Steve and Marie Segura
18th.
I'm sorry, I travel on the 19th. Sorry, November 3rd through November 18th.
Don't go on the 19th. They won't be there.
But we'd love to have you. And like she said, Monty's Trattoria, her family's restaurant, is offering a 15% discount with tickets that are sold. You can go on the website, notyourplay.com, correct, Joanne?
Nope, not your wife. Play.com.
No, sorry, I'm tired. It's like I ran a marathon.
Look, always the boss. Listen to her. She's like, hey, come on. No, it's not your wife. Play.com.
So what's the website titled again where they can get tickets?
Not-your-wife.com.
Great.
Or just put in the name of the play, right? And then it'll pop up.
You can also go to the Facebook page.
But it's pretty easy. Not-your-wife.com.
Okay. And you can also go on the Facebook page.
Yeah, Not Your Wife Play.
Go on your page. Go on her page. I mean, go on my page, and you'll find out how to get tickets. Thank you so much for being here. I had a great time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne, for calling in. And your nephew.
Oh my God, this is fun.
Your nephew was terrific.
Your
nephew was terrific. Anyway, I just can't wait. I really can't wait, Blake. That's just going to be such a terrific thing to do.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to having you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for coming on today.
Appreciate
it. Braving the traffic here in LA. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here for another fun edition of Deborah Kobylt Live. Bye-bye.